All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chang Gang podcast. This is episode 42 featuring Callie, aka Bloopied. Callie, welcome to the stream, the
Yeah.
podcast. Thank you so much for committing to this. I appreciate you. Guys, on the top right, you can see the panel. This is already episode 42. On the bottom right, you can see both of our Instagram handles. Feel free to drop a follow if you haven't already. Please also note that there are two commands for this stream and this podcast. The first one is !podcast. In short, it's just a way for me to get to know my Twitch friends on a more personal level. So it's great to hear about life experiences and stories. And secondly, !guest. It's a direct link to Callie's channel. So if you haven't already followed her on Twitch, please do so. Okay, let's get it. We're gonna start things off with Callie answering a few things. A lot of things, actually. So give us a brief introduction about yourself and include some of your hobbies and interests.
Okay, I'm Callie. I'm 21. I'm originally from Canada, but right now I live in Southern California because I'm going to school here. I go to UCLA. I'm a neuroscience major. I was pre-med, but over COVID, I was like, I don't really know if that's the path for me. But I'm still thinking about it. Still working on that stuff. Some of my hobbies and interests. I like music a lot, mostly classical stuff. I grew up like playing the piano. I was learning the cello. So yeah, very classical. I listen to a lot of rap as well, or like R&B stuff. And I also play rugby. I've played for about 7 years, 6 years or 7 years. And I play on like the school team. But this year I'm very injured, so I don't know if I'm gonna continue playing or not.
Oh, wow, okay. Nice, great overview. So how would you describe your own personality?
Uh, I think I'm very positive. Like, I think that's one of my best traits. I'm very positive. I think I'm very empathetic and like I really absorb other people's feelings. Or like I think I can tell what someone is feeling even if they don't explicitly say. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I think I'm friendly.
Would you say you're more of an introvert or an extrovert?
An introvert, definitely. But I can like project if I
Mhm.
need to, you know?
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. So that was a brief introduction. We're gonna get into the very beginnings of your life, like childhood, when you were born, that type of time. So
Okay.
give us an overview of like your come up. What was life like? Background story, and then you could kind of tell us a little more about you in like elementary, middle school, high school, and based on what you say, I'll ask you specific questions.
Okay. So I was born in Los Angeles, but my mom took me back to Taiwan at like a very early age, and I lived there for around 3 years or so until I moved back to LA, and that's where I attended elementary school. I'd say I was like very shy growing up, and I would never talk. I was like a big goody two shoes, so um, if the teacher said like one thing to me, like could you quiet down? Like it would ruin my entire week, kind of thing. I like to read a lot, so my mom is always taking me to the library. And like I grew up with my mom and my brother, so we were very close. We would like watch movies together every weekend. I was out at the park all the time, and I didn't have very many friends growing up, but my brother did because he's like an extrovert. He's like very sociable. So I remember like he used to be with all his friends on like bikes and stuff, and I would chase after them on foot. And like I think that's where like I started liking sports and stuff. But yeah, I grew up swimming, reading, just going outside, and I didn't own like a TV or anything, so I still don't understand any SpongeBob references that people make because I've never seen it before. Um, and then after like third grade, I moved to Canada. So like I think because I moved so much, that's where I started being able to socialize and like learn how to put myself out there because I was always moving, having to make new friends and stuff like that.
Wow, okay. So what was the reason for the move from like Cali to Canada?
My parents wanted to immigrate to Canada because they're not like American citizens.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a good overview of what it was like for you during your childhood. So what was your relationship like with your parents and your sibling back then versus now?
Mm, sorry, cough drop.
It's
Um,
okay. No, no,
I would
it's fine.
say it hasn't changed that much. I'm definitely a lot closer to my mom than I was like as a teenager. Like during my childhood years, like I was close to her, but it's definitely a different kind of closest now where I can like actually go to her for anything. Um, my brother and I have always been pretty close, like since we were kids, because we'd play together. And then growing up, like even when I was a teen, I felt like I could go to him with any problems from school, or like I could talk to him about my issues. And then now, like I still feel the same way. And I think I've gotten closer to my dad over the years because I didn't live with him growing up, but now we live together.
Mhm. What's the age gap with you and your brother? Is it like small?
It's only 2 years.
Oh,
He's
okay.
only 2 years older. Yeah.
And with your family, how did your parents handle discipline whenever you acted out or something?
This is one. Um, Okay, so yeah, I didn't grow up with my dad. So my mom handled discipline by, I guess, like yelling at us, getting spanked, the Asian way.
Hmm.
um, I don't think I've ever gotten grounded or like sent to my room or anything. But yeah, growing up, I was a person pleaser, people pleaser. I don't know the word. Like I wanted to make everyone happy. So if she said something once, like I would do it or like I'd change. Um, but my brother was always out there like not listening, running around. So I think I got swept into that sometimes.
Hmm.
And then she would just yell at us, talk to the both of us. Yeah.
Got it. Wait, so you said you weren't living with your dad back then. Was it just like, was he just completely somewhere else for work?
Yeah, he was in Taiwan.
Got it. Okay, so this is more about the areas where you lived in. Talk about the diversity and like the different cities and places you lived in. How would you describe them?
Oh, um, okay. I don't remember like much of my time in Taiwan because I was
Hmm.
like 3 years old, but elementary school, I'd say it was I think it was like Hispanic, and, like a lot of East Asians, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Because, like, I didn't really look for that as a kid, or like, I never really noticed any of that. And then moving in Canada, I'd say it was predominantly Asian and white, I believe, like middle school. And then my high school was pretty much like 90% Asian. Yeah.
Hmm. So that's more so the people. How about like the actual like location, like the city? Where do you like living the most so far?
Um, I think they're all pretty even from like I think every place has its ups and downs. Like when I was
Hmm.
living in LA, I like as a kid, I felt like life was very simple. Um and then I think my experiences living in LA as a kid and then me living here now are like completely different. But I really enjoy the weather here. The people I think are all super friendly. Um I don't like the traffic obviously, but then at the same time, like even though the weather here is great and all, like in I don't want to say the city. Okay, in Canada,
Hmm.
um, like it snows, I think like 9 months out of the 12. But I really enjoy like how the scenery changes, you know? Because in books as a kid, I would always read like, oh, in winter it snows, and then in fall, like the leaves fall down, stuff like that. And I was always wondering how come I never saw any snow. So I'd say I like both places for like what they have. Like I wouldn't say I like one more than the other.
Nice. Okay. Fair point. Now let's talk about your school life. So, what did you do in school back then, like in elementary, middle school, and high school? And also explain how you were like academically.
Okay. So in elementary, I was like a big try hard. Um, always wanted to get like 100% in everything I did. My mom would buy me these little like English workbooks or math workbooks, and she'd be like, "Okay, I want you to finish this over the next 3 months." But then I would finish it like in a day because I just really like doing that stuff. And like I said, I really like to read. So each weekend, my mom would like bring me to the library, and I get a huge stack of books, and like it made me happier than anything to wake up and be like, today I can read 5 books or whatever. And there was a program in school where they would actually track the amount of words you read. And then she would like post a list on the door, and I always wanted to be at the top because whoever, I think it was like whichever class had the most words read combined would get a pizza party. And I was really trying to be the one that like brought up the class, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was elementary school. And then middle school, I'd say I fell off a bit for academics. Just, you know, going through puberty, and I was like kind of emotional, and I was like, oh my God, I want to make friends. I want to be popular. But then I started getting involved in a lot more extracurriculars. So in middle school, oh my God, in middle school, I did cross country, wrestling, basketball, and track. And I think like that didn't take anything away from my academics, but it definitely helped me like grow as a person and become more motivated. And then in high school, I didn't have time to do like 4 sports, and I wanted one that kind of combined all 4 together. So that's where rugby came in. And then high school, I think I was pretty academically focused. I didn't really care much about like the social dynamic or being popular anymore. I was just like, I must get into UCLA. So every single day I would, oh my God, dude, I would literally sleep at like 3 a.m. because I'd be studying, um, go to school, and then right after school I'd have rugby until 5, I'd eat dinner, and then I'd study until 3, and it was just repeat for like all the years. But
Wow.
like it got me where I wanted, so
Paid off.
yeah.
So aside from sports and academics, what clubs were you actively in?
I didn't really join any clubs. It was just sports for me.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess I was it's not like a club, but like the IB program. Uh do you know what it is?
The IB program. What does
Yeah,
that stand for?
International Baccalaureate. It's like AP, but um like I think it's more internationally driven.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's just kind of like AP on steroids is what people at my school called it. Um, so since I was in that, I was like, nah, sports and that is enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so since you mentioned quite a few sports, we're gonna dive deep into those.
Mm.
So let's start with cross country. How did you find yourself getting into cross country, and what was that experience like?
Okay. So as a kid, I was always, like I said, running, and I don't know what it is, but like something about running has always made me feel very calm, and it like keeps me in shape at the same time. So I just wanted to join some sort of running club in my middle school, and cross country was one of the like main ones, obviously. And we wouldn't run very far or anything. but my best friend, her name's Angela, we joined together, and it was kind of like a nice after school activity for us to just run around the school, and then after we would all like get food or something together.
Nice. Would you say you're more of like a distance runner or a short distance like sprinter?
Um, Before I would say distance, but now I'd say short.
Hmm. So there was a specific question from chat about like doing marathons in cross country. Do people generally do it because they find running fun? What are your thoughts?
I think running is really fun. I was actually thinking about it today. I was like, I can't wait to go for a run tomorrow now that like I'm over my sickness.
Hmm.
Um, like everyone's always like, oh, after you run, you get like runner's high or whatever. I don't think I've ever gotten that like afterwards, but during, I think it's very relaxing to just be out there, like going through, looking at the scenery, like listening to music.
Okay, sounds good. Now let's move on to basketball. So same questions. How'd you get into that, and what was the experience like?
Okay, in elementary school, I had a bunch of friends who were like big basketball fans, and we used to play together at the park. Um, but, like I've never been good at basketball or anything. It's
Hmm.
just since a bunch of my friends were like, "Oh, we're gonna try out for the team." I was like, "Okay, I'll try out too." And in grade 7 or 7th grade, as people here say, um, I didn't make the tryouts for the team, and I was like super sad because a bunch of my friends did. And then in 8th grade, like from 7th to 8th, I think I got a lot more like buff from wrestling because I used to be a twig, and I gained a lot more stamina. So in an 8th, I was able to make the team. Um, and like I was still very terrible. Like one of my first memories from basketball was like during a game, the ball rolled to me and I started dribbling it, and my coach literally screamed, "Why is Callie dribbling the ball?" Because I would play post, and all she wanted me to do was like stand under and just go like this.
I see. Wow. So how is your like size compared to everyone, especially when it comes to basketball?
Oh, I was humongous. I hit my growth spurt like super early. I'm 5'8", so and like I've been 5'8" since I was like 14.
Hmm.
So everyone else was like very small, and that's why she would always be like, "You have to be the one that's like defending."
Post.
Yeah. Like I don't know
I
anything
see.
about basketball except just standing there and going like this because that's all I learned.
Hmm. All right, let's move on to wrestling. Yeah, what do you have to say about wrestling?
Um, I think wrestling was one of my best sports out of the four that I mentioned. Um, so growing up, I always wanted to do some sort of martial arts, but my mom wouldn't let me because it was like dangerous. And then I was like, it's time to rebel. Like I'm gonna do it in school now. So I went for wrestling, and my first meet was at my school, and I like invited my mom and stuff, and I got absolutely like beat up. And then after that one, okay, 7th grade, I was terrible, but I was slowly learning. And then, like I said, like it helped me build a lot of stamina.
Hmm.
And then in 8th grade, I started doing really well. And I was like winning every single one of my meets. And like, I think something just clicked, and like I understood it. And I loved just like setting up the mats after school. Um, and like putting on I had these like special blue wrestling shoes from the school, and everyone else's was black. So I felt like extra cool. Like I love putting on my wrestling shoes and just being together as a team. Um, yeah, going to meets and stuff. And then in 9th grade, I was like, I think I was one of the most experienced people by that time for wrestling. So, um, like I would lead most of the warm-ups. Like I knew how practices were gonna go, and I was like very close to my coach and everything.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. I think wrestling helped me build like a lot of what is the word? Perseverance and like not fighting through the pain, but just like not giving up.
I see.
Yeah.
Mental fortitude. Let's go. Okay.
Yeah.
Is grade 9 considered middle school for you guys, or?
Yeah,
I
it's
see.
middle school is 7 to 9.
Mhm. And then there's track. So you were also involved in track, right? What did you do?
Yeah. I did I did long jump, the 2000 meter, and then the 100 meter sprint.
Ooh, which one were you best at?
Uh, I think long jump, and then I was really good at the 2000 meter one. But then, and I remember specifically, like during the meet, we had to get up at 7 a.m. and I had like a math exam the next day. So, or like that day. So I'd been studying for a very long time. And I think I slept at like 4. So during the 2000 meter, like I could not stay awake. But like, I was like pretty good at long jump in 2000.
Do you have a favorite memory from track?
I don't think I really have a favorite. I wasn't like that involved in track. Like I would just do it just cause.
Okay. And then the last sport you mentioned, which is something you're still doing today. Let's talk about your rugby experience, since
Yeah.
that's long.
Yeah.
So yeah, talk about how you got into it, and then you could definitely go through as many experiences as you want.
Okay. Um, so yeah, going into 10th grade or grade 10, I couldn't do all of those sports, and I didn't really want to be like doing so many either because I wanted to focus more on my academics going into high school. Um, and I was actually going to try out for field hockey, but my best friend, the same one that like ran with me in cross country, said that she was trying out for rugby, and I had never even heard of rugby in my life. Um, and then I watched a couple videos, and I was like, "Huh, like they're tackling. This seems kind of similar to wrestling. Like I could do a full contact sport, I think." And in field hockey, like they hold the little sticks, and I've never been good with any sport that involves like tennis, like badminton. Like I can't do any of that stuff. I don't know what it is. Um, but yeah, so then I went to tryouts, and I think it was the first tryout ever. He wanted us to practice tackling, and I remember a lot of people were kind of like nervous to get into it. And I was like, no, I know this. Like I wrestled. So then I went and I forgot what it's called, like the double leg attack or whatever. Like double legged someone and then kind of like picked them up and dumped them on the floor. And then they're like, oh yeah, you can't be doing that in rugby, but like that was a good try. And I was like, oh, okay. But like that was like after that hit, I felt like it was a sport I could really get involved in since I was so involved in wrestling in middle school. And then I yeah, so I got through the tryout, and during the tryout, it started snowing. Like the last one, it started snowing. Or was it the last? Middle of tryouts, it started snowing, sorry. And we were running outside, and I messed up my ankle really badly. Like I sprained it really badly. So I thought there was no chance I was going to get into the team because tryouts weren't even over and I hadn't shown off like what I could do. And I was out, but I went to every single tryout and I would just sit by the side and like tell the coach about what I feel like I could do and like what I could bring to the team and like to show I was still coming. And then somehow I actually did get onto the team. And while I had no idea how the sport worked or anything, we would have practices in the snow. The snow would be like up to our like hips or like up to our knees, and we would be
Wow.
running through that like with the ball. So like I feel like I have no nerves left in my leg, but we'd be running through that with the ball. It was like a nice team bonding experience. Yeah, and I think after after high school, like there was no doubt in my mind I was going to continue playing rugby. Like it was just I like rugby is just such a good sport. I love it.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know.
So it carried with you to college. So
Yeah.
how's that experience been like?
Um so in high school, my coach was a very tall British man who
Hmm.
was I believe he was in like the British Navy or something. So he was pretty strict with us, where if we were just standing around, we weren't allowed to cross our arms or to even show that we were cold. Because he was like, if you're cold, you're not practicing hard enough. And then I came here, and everyone is like a lot more laid back because rugby is like not a very big thing in America, I believe.
Hmm.
Yeah. So and everyone was like super laid back and everyone was still trying to learn like how exactly to be a good rugby player. Um, so then in practice, like I'd see people with their arms like this, or like people would be standing around. And I think in college it's a different experience because it's a lot more social, or like my first year, it was a lot more social than just competitive. Like we've become more competitive over the years because we're trying to be like uh is it like certified as like NCAA, like the official?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, like we're D1 because we're the highest we can play. But since
Yeah.
like no one knows what rugby is here, like it's kind of hard to get that certification. So we've
Hmm.
become a lot more competitive over the years. But when I first came here, I was really surprised at how sociable it was, laid back. Um, and like one of the biggest surprises to me was how accepting everyone was, like regardless of like who you are, where you came from, like your size, your shape, like your weight, like anything like that. People were very accepting and like very eager to teach others what rugby was.
I see. So how good would you say you are compared to like
At
everyone
rugby?
else? Yeah.
I'm not good. Like I think I do my role well,
Hmm.
and I think like my biggest strength, because like rugby is separated into there's like the forward pack, and those people are usually, um, they're like bigger, they're usually shorter, they're like more sturdy.
Yeah.
And then there's the backs, so that's like me because like I have noodle arms. Um, and the backs are usually people who are more shifty, like leaner, like they're supposed to do all like the side steps and like the juking and stuff like that. So I'd say as a back, I think I do well in tackling,
Hmm.
and just like throwing myself in there, which is what a lot of backs struggle with just because we are smaller. And like if someone who's double your weight is running at you, I think a lot of people who are like my size will hesitate.
Yeah.
But like I think I would go in. Yeah.
I see. So how good was your team in high school and versus college? Like the comparison.
I think we're a lot better in college because, like I said, we're trying to be more competitive and be NCAA. So I think everyone takes it a lot more seriously. While as in high school, it was just a lot of new people. Like no one had any idea what the sport was even about. And we also had like several issues where, um, like it would be split into like what is it, like juniors versus like the senior team. Well, here it's just one team. So people who are like seniors on the team will like teach the younger people. Meanwhile, in high school, like seniors would just kind of be like, oh, I'm better than you. And then the juniors wouldn't be able to learn as much.
Hmm.
So I say we're definitely a lot better now in college.
Gotcha. So what would you say is your favorite thing and least favorite thing in regards to rugby?
Um, my favorite thing is, hmm, I think the dynamic of being on a team in rugby. I think everyone is very respectful of each other. Like I said, like it's a very accepting sport. Um, yeah, accepting of each other's identities and stuff like that. And then even after every single game we always have a social, like we'll have a party where we just drink and have a good time with the other team as well, and we get to know each other, like not just as players but as people. And then I think my least favorite thing, how painful it is.
Uh, so, how would you describe rugby for those who don't know what rugby is?
uh, my usual go-to for like Americans
Mm-hmm.
is obviously football, but it'd be no, not non. It'd be continuous football, like with no breaks, even if the ball like drops or anything, where you can only pass backwards is usually how I put it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I know in football, like there's like one play and then you stop and you like
Yeah.
reform in the middle, right? Yeah. So in rugby, it just continues. If the ball drops, like people ruck over it, which is like people will like wrestle over it to see which team gets the ball. If you push the other person over and like your foot is over the ball, then the ball belongs to your team. But like the game doesn't stop.
Wow. Okay. You mentioned that. Well, for sure it's physical.
Yeah.
How easy is it to get hurt in your opinion?
Um, we don't wear any gear, so we don't have like any protective padding or anything
Mhm.
like that. And you are going into every single tackle just like head on with like no helmet or whatever
Yeah.
people in football wear. Yeah. Um, so I'd say it, it's easy to get hurt, but not if you learn the proper technique. Where
Mhm.
like if you're going in, like you're not going in head first, like you have to hit with your shoulder. Um, and like always protecting your body if you are going to something. Like for example, if you're trying to catch the ball and someone kicks it up, you don't want to be trying to catch like this because that's a very easy way to like jam or break your fingers. And
Mhm.
instead, you want to be kind of like making a bucket motion to like catch it here. So I think if you learn the proper technique, you should not get hurt, but it does happen. Yeah. Like for
Okay.
me, this is my first year getting injured, like for real injured.
Mhm.
But before that, like I've never had a concussion. Like the worst I've had is literally a sprained ankle, and it was just me being stupid outside. Like it wasn't even rugby related.
Oh, wait, what kind of injury did you get? What happened?
Oh wait, no, I have gotten injured worse.
Uh,
Now that I'm thinking about it, and like in grade 12, I think I was laying on the floor after a tackle, and a girl came up to me, and she ended up kicking me like kind of like on my side. So it started hurting for a very long time. And I went to the doctor and I said, "Hey, I think my ribs are bruised, or like I think there's something wrong with my ribs." And then I pointed it to her, or pointed at the area to her, and she was like, "Oh, honey, that's your liver. Like that's not your ribs." And then like I had an ultrasound done and everything because she told me my liver was most likely bruised. Like I didn't even know that was a thing.
mhm.
And I think that's the worst injury I've ever gotten. And then now, like last week or like 2 weeks ago, I got a concussion. Um,
Oh no.
yeah. But like before that, I never gotten like a serious injury, Like one of my closest friends on my team right now, she just completely tore her ACL. Like there's no more
Oh,
ACL left. Like that's never happened to me. So
yeah.
yeah.
How'd you get the concussion? Like, what happened?
It was in practice. Okay,
Mhm.
so um I have a really bad habit of never admitting when I am hurt or if I need help or anything like that. Like I don't know why, but I just like I refuse to ask for help or admit that I'm hurt. And I was tackling this one girl. She's like relatively new to the team. Um and usually when I'm tackling, I have to put a lot of force into it because I'm kind of a twig. Um and she just like flopped over and didn't really put any resistance when I was trying to hit her, like because it was practice.
Yeah.
And then I think it was this side of my head bounced off the side of her hip,
Yeah.
like the bone on her hip.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was kind of like sitting there in a daze for a while, and I was like, holy crap, I might be screwed. Um, but then I didn't go to the doctor or anything. And after that, like I definitely knew something was wrong because it felt like I was living in animation, or like everything was sort of foggy. And like I would look at my own hands and be like, I feel like nothing's right. It just felt wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And like the days would go by and it didn't feel like any time was going by, but at the same time, I was like, time is endless kind of thing. Um, and then I like played in a tournament and everything. After the tournament, um, like 1 week after the tournament, I was hanging out with my boyfriend and we bonked heads really hard. And that just like took me out. Like the whole night I was dying with the headache and I was like, okay, I should
Oh
definitely get
no.
checked. The next morning I woke up and it was so bad to the point where I couldn't like I couldn't do this because if I did this, like I thought I was gonna throw up.
Mm-hmm.
Everything just felt like very scrambled up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then yeah, I went to the doctor, I rested, I stopped going to practice, I took care of myself for once, and yeah, I'm okay now.
Wow, what an experience. Okay, so that is the rugby and sports talk. That was it, right? There is no other
Yeah.
sports.
Yeah.
Okay, so based on everything you went through, like back in high school, what would you say your stereotype was? Like, what were you known as when people would see you?
Uh, in middle school, jock, sports
Jock?
person. Yeah. In high school, math nerd. Definitely. Because, like, every single lunch break or anything, people would be like, my whole group of friends would be hanging out. And I'd be the one, like, sitting in the middle just staring at my book because I didn't understand math very well. Like, it was math nerd, but I had to study because I didn't understand. And 24/7, I was just like, what the hell? But yeah.
Okay, so have you ever personally encountered any sort of bullying in your life?
Yes. Um, I got okay, so when I first moved from America to Canada,
Mm-hmm.
it was grade 3. Was grade 3. Didn't experience any bullying from that move, but then I moved schools again, like elementary schools in grade 5. Um, and then when I went there, it wasn't like I don't think the bullying was directed at me necessarily. It was just kind of like any new kid. I guess it was kind of like hazing. But I remember they would always make me it, and I was like really tired of being it because like I'd catch them and like they wouldn't admit it and stuff. But afterwards, like we became friends and everything. And then going from elementary school to middle school is when I experienced like the worst bullying, like going into we call it junior high,
Mm-hmm.
but like same thing. Um, so since my brother and I have a 2-year gap and middle school is 7 to 9, he was already in ninth grade. And like I said, he's super sociable. He's like an extrovert and like everyone loves him. So he was the popular kid. And I was like the new kid that had like just entered the school. But since he would bring his friends over to my place all the time, I got to know a lot of his friends who were like the popular crowd. And I think not a lot of people, there are certain people in my grade who were kind of, I guess, like upset at that. And they would be like, why are you trying so hard to look cool in front of these like grade 9 kids? Like, why are you always sucking up to these cool like grade 9 boys? And then what made things worse was that when I was a kid, I wanted to be either like an actress or like a model or like a director, something in that industry. So then I had went to like a modeling agency and we were talking about that stuff, and I had let some people know. But then the whole school had found out, and then I started getting a lot of hate for how I looked because people were like, you're too fat, or like you have no boobs, or like you wear glasses, you can't wear glasses in the modeling industry. And I remember there was this app. Do you know Ask.fm?
Yeah.
It was that app.
The
I remember I made
anonymous,
an
yeah.
account. Yeah, yeah. I made an account, and every single morning I'd wake up and it'd just be filled with like nonstop hate messages about like my appearance,
Hmm.
um, and like how I was a try hard, and people were like, "Why are you always trying to seem like cute to other people? Like you'll never be a model. You're too short. You're too whatever." Um, and I think that was the worst bullying of my life because it was like in particular is this one girl in my grade
Hmm.
and another girl in ninth grade. Um, and I never felt like I could really say anything back because I had like very low self-esteem. I was like going through puberty and stuff. So I felt like I had very low self-esteem, and a lot of their words like really got to me, like to this day.
I see.
Mhm.
So how did you end up like getting past it all?
Um, I think that's definitely where sports had a big part. Since I started getting involved in sports, I think I started really liking how I physically looked because I was getting like more muscular and stuff. Because back then, um, like I was always like I was tall. I was like 5'8". I weighed like 110 pounds. So I was just a tall, lanky kid,
Hmm.
and I hated how I looked. But then once I started joining all the sports and stuff, I got muscle. I think I started looking how I wanted to. So their words just started like I stopped really caring, and I started learning like who my actual close friends were. So I
Hmm.
became more close to them because of the bullying. Um, yeah, I think that's where I mostly got over it.
Very nice. So aside from bullying, have you ever found yourself in a physical altercation or fight?
uh, no. Several people will like, or like several players in rugby have tried to fight me, but for me, I'm always just like, what are you doing? Like I'm not gonna fight anyone.
Okay, so it's from rugby. Almost got it.
Yeah, like if I tackle someone like super hard, like they'll stand up, and like I've been shoved a couple times, or they'll be like, "Wait, can I swear?"
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Or like, "Chill out" and stuff like that. And I'm just like, "No, no, no, no."
Gotcha. All right. So this is more towards college.
Mhm.
How did you decide that you wanted to go to UCLA specifically and also neuroscience? Oh, you said you
Oh,
switched, right?
no, no, no. Just like
Okay.
I don't know if I want to be pre-med, but
Oh, there you go. Got it.
yeah. Um, so the elementary school I went to in LA was very, um, I think very like academic-y. So, even back in like grade 1 and grade 2, the principal would tell us, which university do you want to go to? Like start planning your future and stuff like that, which it seems like a lot for like a kid at such a small age, but I'm really grateful for that because I remember she gave us these banners, and she was like, on it you have to draw out the name of the school that you want to go to in the future. And I remember going up to my mom and I was like, "Hey mom, what's the best school I could possibly go to?" And my mom was just like trying to think of what was in the area that was like decent. She was like, UCLA is a good school. And I was like, okay. So I put UCLA down when I was in grade 2. And then like I moved to Canada and everything, but I think the thought stuck with me
Hmm.
until like high school and everything. But in high school, I had applied to one Canadian school, and I knew I wanted to come back to California for sure. So I like applied to a couple of the UCs, and like I think in high school, UCLA was just the dream for me. Like it got me through those late night study sessions where I'm like dying. I was like,
Mhm.
no, like I need to go to that school. Um, so yeah, it's never been a choice for me. I was like, I have to get into this school. Um, like I did. But as for neuroscience, I never knew I wanted to major in neuroscience. Um, I was always like I really like to write and I really like English or like poetry, like screenwriting, just like fictional stuff. I think that has a bigger um appeal to me than anything else. But
Mhm.
then growing up, it was a lot of people telling me like you're not going to make it in that industry or like in the future that's going to be too difficult to like make a living for yourself. And then especially since I was like, oh, I want to be an actress or like I want to do something with like plays or whatever. Back then, like I know it's different now, but back then people were like, you'll never see Asians in Hollywood, or like it's too difficult to make it because you're Asian. And then back then I was like, yeah, no, you're so right. Um, so I gave that up. And then it was in 11th grade. We had I had a bio class and we had a pig dissection. And I remember I was just like cutting open the pig and stuff. And I was like, wow, this is so interesting. And then I was like the one part that really stood out to me was the brain.
Mhm.
And I don't know why it was the brain, but I've always been interested in um like brain injuries too, and like mental illness and all that, and that kind of factored into my decision in the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like neuroscience or psychology. It was definitely one of those for me.
Mhm. So now that you're in college, how's the whole experience, especially at UCLA? What else are you doing aside from rugby? How are you handling academics and all that?
Okay. I think I'm handling everything decently well. It was definitely like very difficult for me to adjust since I was like moving so far away from home and I
Yeah.
didn't have the support system I had before. Um and yeah, like it was very difficult for me just adjusting, but academically, I think it's very similar to like what I was experiencing back in high school just because of that like international baccalaureate program that I was in.
Mhm.
Yeah, academics wise, it's fine. It's gotten more difficult now that I'm taking like upper division courses in neuroscience.
Yeah.
But since I'm so interested, like while I'm suffering, I'm enjoying myself at the same time, you
Mhm.
know. And then as for other stuff, I'm involved in a club called Medicine and Art, and we kind of look for like interdisciplinary stuff. So um for example, or like last year, I was in a position called the music therapy director. So it's like music and therapy. They're like pretty different, but at the same time, they're very similar. So since it was COVID last year, we would like make videos together, especially during the holidays, and we would like send it to nursing homes or like hospitals. And before COVID, we would go into hospitals for patients who were like bedridden and couldn't get out of bed. And we would play music for them to like help them relax for entertainment. Um, so yeah, that's one of the clubs I'm in. I really love it. There's also this other thing where like terminally ill patients will
Mhm.
have their fingerprints on like a piece of canvas and we make art around it. So like their fingerprint could be a flower and we try to base it off of their impact during their life and like what they mean to the people around them. So like pretend they owned a flower shop. Yeah, that would be where the flowers come in.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so that's one of the clubs that means a lot to me. And before that, I was also in this other club called 514. It was just like a running club. We would get together Thursdays at 514. The 514 was just for like advertisement purposes, because we'd all wear these shirts called 514, and then
Mm-hmm.
people would be like, "What's 514?" And then we'd just be like, "Why don't you come find out?" Um, yeah, running club. That was a very tight community of people who are all also very accepting um, of each other. And I also joined a research lab, and I like worked with mice. We were working with like the working memory of mice. I don't think I can talk too much about it, but we're working with the memory of mice, and that's why I'm kind of hesitant to do pre-med, because I realize that I'm a lot more interested in research than like a direct path to like becoming a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Wow.
And also mice are really cute. I would like hold them in my hands. I'd be like, "Hey buddy, you got this." They're so cute.
What else are you doing like nowadays aside from all that? I know that's a lot already, but anything else?
um Nowadays, not really much. This quarter has been um it's been very difficult for me because like after COVID, this is my first time actually moving out, because before I was living in the dorms,
Mm-hmm.
and like I would just eat like the meal plans on campus, but now I'm actually living in like an off-campus apartment, and like I've never really had to prepare my meals for myself, like every meal, or like
Yeah.
go out grocery shopping like this. I like buy my furniture, just like everything's up to me, and I don't have a car.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a lot of time management, learning how to live alone and be okay with living alone, um, managing finances and stuff like that. So I haven't really been getting involved in more school related stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I see. All right. Let's transition and let's talk about your work experiences.
Mm,
So, starting from the very first one, you could talk about how you got into that and what it was like, and then you could just transition from there.
okay. My first experience working, I was either 13 or 14 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and it was at the library, I think. It was at the library, and I was just working there as like a page or like a bookshelver. So people would like return books, and I'd push around these little carts and like just put them back on the shelves. Um, and that was essentially my whole job. Um, it was very easy, but I don't think it was my ideal first job, because I wanted to do something more like challenging, or like I like to really fill my time up with stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I would only get 3 carts of books. I don't remember how long I worked, but I only get like 3 carts of books to reshelve. And I could shelve them in like half the time that I was supposed to work. And then it always bothered them when I like the managers, if I went up and I was like, "Can you give me more stuff to do? Like I have another hour here." And they'd be like, "You could like walk around and like see if anyone needs help." But I don't like doing that. Like, give me stuff to do, you know?
Yeah.
So I wasn't the biggest fan of that job, but it also allowed me to check out books for as long as I wanted, which was a big perk. So I did stay in that job for a while.
Uh-huh.
And then at the same time, while I was working that job, I also got a job at Dairy Queen when I was 14. Um, and Dairy Queen gave me enough work, and I loved it there. I worked with one of my like closest friends, um, and it was right next to this I think it's baseball. It was a baseball stadium. So then I would always work when there were games, and it would be like nonstop people, and I was like, yes, work. And I loved taking the orders. I loved making their ice cream, and like, the thing where they like hold it upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I don't know. That was my second job. I loved it. I only worked
Dairy Queen.
there. It was like a seasonal thing. So um I only worked there for like a month, two months, something like that. And then I stopped working for a while until I think high school. Um, and I got this job at this like carnival slash fair. Um, and I worked. It was like right when I turned 18, I think, and I worked at this gambling dealer, but not really. It was this like huge ass circle. There were 6 arrows in the middle, and all I would do is like spin them. And people would like put their money in like little sections around the circle, and if the arrows landed on them, like if they put $2 down, the arrow landed, they get $2 more. Or like if there were 2 arrows, they get $4, you know? Um, and while it was fun to be in the carnival setting, people get very mad at me and they'd be like, "You're definitely like doing something so the arrow doesn't land on my money,"
Ah,
you know?
yeah.
And I was like, "You can literally check. It's a piece of cardboard on a wooden block. Like, what am I doing except going like this?" I'm like, "I don't care if you, like, it's not my money. I don't care if you're winning or not." And people, like, these old people would come and yell at me for like somehow, like,
Rigging it.
yeah, for like rigging it. And I was just standing there, like, yeah. And then, I'm like going through all my jobs. I'm sorry.
No, that's
Um,
perfect.
I worked in college at the call center. So that was where I really, really hated that job. I think it's the worst job I've worked because there were no perks for me. Like at least at the library, I would get to check them like books out for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But at the call center, it was like on the fourth floor of this super sketchy looking building with no main door. So you had to like walk into this alleyway through this like back corner. And there is nothing there but like a single door. You open the door, there's a hallway with nothing else but one elevator at the end. And then you go up to the fourth floor, like there's no signs or anything. And then yeah, I would literally just sit at a desk, like kind of like my PC. And you would just nonstop dial people on this list and essentially ask them for donations to UCLA. And there were several departments that you could call, or like several majors that you could call. And for some reason, they always put me on the engineering people. And it was something about the engineering people, like they do not like to be called. So I would always get like yelled at over the phone because they were like, "I don't want to give money." But if they don't give money, like every 2 times you get rejected, you have to like raise your hand. The supervisor comes over and she was like, "So why do you think you got rejected?" I'm like, because they don't want to give money. Like, like why are they giving money? Like what occasion? Or like maybe they don't have enough to give. But then saying I don't have enough to give was like it wasn't a good enough reason for them.
Mm-hmm.
So then I would be like pestering these people on the phone because I don't want to get yelled at.
Yeah.
But then they don't want to give, so then I feel bad. Like it was just a whole ass mess. I remember this one time there was a super nice guy on the phone, and like my phone voice was like it was like, "Hello, I'm a freshman, and like I'm really excited." And then people would be like, "Oh, you're so cute. Like I love freshmen." I'd be like, "Yeah, it really helped me with my studies." And so there I was using that voice. There's this one guy who was like, "Oh, hey baby, like you sound cute as fuck." And I was like, "Dude, you're like 55 years old. Like, what is wrong with you?" And he didn't give me any money, or like not me, but like he didn't donate any money. So then I
Yeah.
still got yelled at. Yeah, I hated that job.
Oh my god. How long were you there
Um,
for?
like 6 months, I think. And then, so I hated it. And I think one of the worst parts was that I would work so late into the night. And like since I don't have a car, I'd have to walk home, and it was through this like it was a back alley, so it was like a very sketchy area. Like
Mhm.
it just everything about the job I did not like. And after that, I got a job at one of the dining places on campus, and like I really liked that job. It was just making sandwiches and like making salads for people, and since it was like a school dining place, there'd be nonstop students coming in 24/7, which gave me like the amount of work I wanted to do,
Yeah.
like the receipts would keep coming and I'd just be there like making nonstop sandwiches. And everyone I worked with, they were all like, they'd either be my age or they would be like 50-year-old people, but they were always very, very nice. And they'd be like, how are your studies going? And then sometimes like if I went there, like not during work, like if I went there, they'd be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And it made my day, and I would get like free lunch. So yeah, um, and then I ended up getting too busy. Yeah, I ended up getting too busy because that's also when I happened to start my research lab with the mice and stuff.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, and then COVID, and then I haven't really been working since COVID.
Hmm. That's still quite a lot of work experiences. So, any other interesting, I guess, stories with customers that you could think of?
Yeah. There was one at Dairy Queen, like
Mhm.
when I was 14. So people would get hella drunk for these baseball games. Like hella drunk. And there's this one guy who came in and he was like, "Where are my two burgers?" And I was like, "I don't know. Do you have a receipt?" And he was like, "No, but like I was here an hour ago and I ordered two burgers." And I was like, there's nothing on the table. We already handed out all the food we have. And then he like grabbed my hand. I was like 14, I was super shy. He grabbed my hand, he was holding it, and he was like, "Please, I just want my burgers." So then I called the manager over and she was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then he started getting like not mad, but like he looked like he was about to cry. Like he was very drunk, okay?
Yeah.
And then his friend came in and was like, "Dude, I got them 30 minutes ago and I've literally been waiting for you in the car." And he was like, "I'm so sorry." He came around like the what is it called? The cashier
Yeah.
counter.
The counter.
He came around and he was like holding all her hands. He's like, "I'm so sorry. You are great. You are beautiful. I'm sorry." And like, I don't know. That was my first experience dealing with drunk people and like weird customers.
Oh no, the first of many.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Any other stories, or is that all you could think of?
There is like a couple like call center ones with like just like because you're calling so many people, but like
Yeah.
some of them will be very depressing. Where they'll be like, "Oh, this person graduated a very long time ago. Like they're at the hospital or like they're dead." But then like those are just sad because then you have to like take them off the list and then like you're having the most awkward phone call of your life because they'll be like, "Oh, what is this about? Like, what does UCLA want with my husband?"
Hmm.
And then you have to tell them like, "Oh, nothing. Like, I'm just here for donations." Like, it's terrible.
All right. So, that was the talks about work experiences that you've had. Very interesting, I must say. I'm sure there was a lot more, but everything's from the top of your head. All right, let's talk about social life aspects now.
Mm.
So, talk about your party phase if you had one or if you're going through one. Are you big on like partying, events, clubs, all those sorts of activities?
Okay. Now I would say I've definitely mellowed out a lot. But
Mm,
when I first came to UCLA, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get it. Like, I'm gonna go crazy." Um, so, first year, I went like balls to the wall. Like, I partied probably every single day. Um, and I had joined or like what is the word? I was like pledging a sorority or something,
oh, okay.
like an Asian sorority. And it was like a lot of nonstop partying and drinking. And then I realized that wasn't really my vibe because it was a lot of like hazing,
Mm-hmm.
which like because they would say like you're gonna get closer to like the people who are pledging with you, but I don't really like the aspect of like people having power over like how much other people are drinking. I think it's all about like having fun with your friends and like, learning how much you can drink over time. Um, so after that whole sorority experience, I'd say it like changed my views on partying and like getting fucked up by a lot. Um, and then since then, I say most of the parties I go to are just with my close friends or they're like rugby parties. Um, and then, oh my God. Okay, okay. I have this story. There's like this one club in LA, and I've been there 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And the first 2 times I went, I didn't get into the club, but like I was at the door. And then both times the person I was with would black out on the sidewalk.
Oh
And then
no.
I would be taking care of them the whole night. And then by the end of the night, like there'd be so much puke on me that like I don't want to go into the club anymore. It's like too late. Um, but I finally got in like I think 3 weeks ago. I like went with people who are like they know their limits, like they know how to drink, like they
Mm-hmm.
know they know what's up. And like I finally had my first clubbing experience in America.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Um, yeah, it was a lot of fun. And mm, I think I kind of prefer going to the club over like parties in general, where like I really like kickbacks where it's just like a close group of friends and they say
Mm-hmm.
like going to the club and like other parties just because the music and like the vibe is so different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a big club person?
No, not really. I mean,
Party person?
nowadays, nah, I don't do
No.
much. I'd be open to it, but I haven't been.
Yeah.
Okay, back to your podcast. So,
Sorry.
no, no, it's all good. Any interesting stories or experiences you want to talk about in regards to like your club experience right there, or those
Mm,
parties, those WAD parties? Since you said it was like a daily basis type of thing.
yeah. Um, I think with like going to parties as a girl, um, is always like it's always like kind of a scary experience. Or even going to the club as a girl, like it's always been kind of a scary experience for me personally because I'll be very like cautious of the people around me.
Mm-hmm.
And like growing up, my mom's always been warning me about like, oh, watch where you're putting your drink or like watch who's around you. So I know going to my first couple of parties, I would never take drinks from anyone else, or like if someone even bumped into my drink, I would toss it out. Um, and I think it was, I think I was like talking to someone once, and they had drank out of a drink and then given it back to me, and just I grew up kind of being like a clean freak, so then I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't drink anyone else's drink. I don't know. The party experience was like I was always really cautious and like aware of what was around me. Um, Now it's definitely different where I feel confident that I know what's going on because I'll be like surrounded by a group of friends.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but also it's a lot of like if you're at the club, it's a lot of guys coming up and going like just like randomly coming up behind me and like grabbing me. And
Mm.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like you can just ask. And it's very like it's very invasive.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like come up and like grab me by my waist or something like that and like start grinding on me. Um, like that's for clubbing, but then at parties, I feel like whenever someone talks to me, I'm always very wary of like their intention,
Mm-hmm.
which I guess is kind of a pessimistic way to look at it. I want to be safe, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say was like the craziest experience that you've had?
Um, I don't know if I can like narrow it down to like one crazy one, but there
Ooh,
was this
you,
experience.
you can talk about multiple too.
There's too many weirdos, man. Okay, there
It's
is.
okay. We love hearing about weirdos.
um, there's one that happened recently, like the third time when I actually got into the club.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was this like one random dude who came up to me and started like grinding on me. And I looked at my friend and I was like, like get me the fuck out. So she's like, let's go to the bathroom. And she like pulled me away, went to the bathroom, and we I think we were in there for like 15 minutes just trying to like hide a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We came out and we were like 5 minutes on the dance floor and the guy found me again. I don't know
Oh
how,
shit.
with so many people, the guy found me again. He came up, he's like, oh my god, hey. Like I thought it was really obvious because I was literally doing like this motion to my friend when he's behind me. He came up, he's like, oh my god, hey. And I was like, and then like I walked in the other direction and I kind of hid behind like one of the guy friends I had gone with.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't know what that dude was thinking, but he pushed my guy friend. And then my friend like pushed him back and they literally like that guy squared the fuck up to him and they looked like they're about to swing hands. And then me and my friend had to go like, no, 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 like it's okay, it's okay. But I'm like, okay, first of all, like why would you come up to some random girl who's just like enjoying her time at the club and be like grinding your dick on someone, right? Like that's just like the very basic, don't do that, just ask. And then the second part is like why are you squaring up? Like my friend's a second year, he's like 19 years old, we're like the same height, that dude was like 6'2". I'm like, why are you squaring up to this like small Asian boy who was just like standing there? Like I don't know, I don't understand, but that was really crazy. Yeah,
That was recent too.
that was recent too.
Mm-hmm.
I have kind of like a wholesome one.
Okay.
So like I said, like I got bullied for how I look. So going to parties and stuff before, I would always wear these like huge sweaters and stuff because I wasn't comfortable wearing like revealing clothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I had went to this party in my freshman year and my roommate like forced me to wear this like tank top or whatever. And then I went with my big ass sweater over it too. And then at the party, there was this guy I was interested in back in freshman year.
Yeah.
And everyone around me was like, dude, like you should see what she's wearing under that sweater. Like she looks so good. Like you should tell her to take it off. And I just remember he was like, everyone leave her the fuck alone. Like if she's comfortable wearing what she wants, like it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if this is a party or what, like just leave her alone. And that's one of my wholesome good experiences.
Yay, wholesome story.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Crazy party experiences. Oh my god. It's not really like focused. Well, I don't know if it counts as a party. It's like one of my sorority stories. I don't know if that really counts as like a party.
Mm-hmm.
But we were in this like hotel lobby room or like event room, and that's where we were trying to have like a banquet, I don't know, like initiation thing. I don't really know the terms for like sorority life anymore.
Yeah.
But we were all drinking, or like I was getting hella hazed, and I don't know like what happened that day, but like 1 second I was in the room, 1 second I was like in the bathroom, and then I think I was throwing up blood or something like that. Like it was
Oh shoot.
like it was like bright red, and people were like, "Oh my god, send her to the hospital." But then like they didn't want to get into trouble. And then 1 second later, I was like being force fed chicken, and then the next second, like I felt fine. Like I don't know whether it's because I threw it all up
Mm-hmm.
or something, but like the next second, I felt completely fine. And then I think it was like 1 week later, I saw the pictures and like half of the pictures were just me blacked out on the floor. Like, I don't know if that's a crazy experience or what, but like that's the worst party experience I've ever had.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang. So what made you wanna like pledge when you first started just to get that experience?
I didn't know anyone in UCLA, and I was
Mm.
having like a very difficult time making friends in my classes. And like it was an Asian sorority, so I felt like it was helping me get to know people like from like my culture, like my people, you know.
Uh-huh.
And like obviously they were trying to get people to pledge or like join the sorority, but they're very friendly, and like that was where I first started making a solid group of friends at UCLA.
Yeah. So like, did you just not get in, or did you like just quit?
I dropped out because I didn't really like the culture behind hazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or like the way they treated people, it wasn't really my thing.
I see.
And then I knew like if I got in, like in the future, I would have to do that to other people. And
Mm-hmm.
like I don't think I have it in me to treat people like that or like force them to drink.
All right. And aside from partying, like clubs and stuff, are you big with raves?
No, I haven't been to single one.
Ooh. Are you open-minded about it?
Yeah, I would definitely like to go to one someday. I
Okay,
wanted to
nice,
go
nice.
to, oh my God, what was it? What's the Halloween one? Is it Escape?
I'm not too sure myself, but I've heard of Escape.
I don't remember. It was like I don't remember which one it was. Like I was gonna go to that one,
Mhm.
and then I looked at the pricing, and I was like, "Sweet Lord, like never mind."
Okay, so talking about drinking, what
Mm.
was your first drinking experience like?
I think I was 16 or 17, um, in high school, and my close friend, the one that I did like cross country with and
Mhm.
rugby with, she was like, "Hey, I'm having like a mini party at my place. Like we should all get our first drinking experience in and see what it's like." Sorry.
All
And
good.
then um I know how the night ended, like I was yakking and everything, but I didn't know how much I had drank. Because she would be pouring, like we had the, like the red cups.
Mm-hmm.
I had like the red cups, and she would just like kind of eyeball it and be pouring instead of doing like shot glasses or whatever. And I was like, how are these shots? Like I have to like glug glug.
Gulp it all, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, how are these shots? And then afterwards, she's like, oh my God, like I made a mistake. I totally poured too much because like I didn't know how much I was pouring. But yeah, I ended up, I think I blacked out, and then I spent like the entire next day like puking because I slept over at her place.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to like call my mom and be like, can you pick me up? And then when I got home, she was like, you've been drinking? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, how could you not? Like, I thought you were drinking a little bit, like you're just trying it. And I was like, well, I thought I was just trying to get drunk,
Mm-hmm.
but I went overboard. And but I kind of learned my limits that day, so it was a good experience.
What did you guys drink?
She had this gigantic bottle of Grey Goose, and I remember it so clearly because she like held it next to her face, and I took a picture of it, and
Mm-hmm.
then just like I think she just had like beers or something. Like we were playing like beer pong and stuff.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
so what would you say is your favorite alcoholic drink and least favorite as of now?
My favorite is beer. I love beer. And my least favorite, whiskey, dark liquor. I can't stand it. I can't drink it.
Whiskey and dark, okay. And how would you describe yourself? Like, what type of drunk are you?
Happy drunk.
Happy
I'm very
drunk?
friendly drunk. Like I'll talk to everyone. I'm the type that like runs around and is like, I love you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Oh, by the way, do you speak other languages with your like
Um,
parents?
I speak Mandarin with my parents, and um, I would say I was like I could hold a conversation in French, like maybe last year or like 2 years ago, but not anymore.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about some of your interests.
Mm.
Are you of the following? Are you big on like anime, shows, movies, or dramas?
I watch a lot of anime and shows. Not really dramas, like K dramas and stuff. Not really.
Okay, let's do a top five for anime, top five for shows, and top five for movies. So this
Oh
is all like
God.
on the top of your head.
Okay. Number one anime. Wait, hold on.
I
Attack
saw
on
that.
Titan, baby. Well, for me, in my humble opinion.
Uh-huh.
Um, what else is there? I really liked Erased.
Okay.
I really liked Noragami. It's just like off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Um, oh my God, I feel like I'm missing so much. Um, I really liked Toradora.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Blue Exorcist. Yeah, I think that's like most of my favorites. Um, and then as for shows, oh my God, I really like the 100, which is kind of like an ass show, but I watched it when I was like 13, and like I watched all the seasons through, and I
Mhm.
really liked the seasons in the middle where they're like fighting, and then I really hated the parts where they're like, oh my God, like she doesn't like me and like all that stuff, and like the ending was ass, but like the shit in the middle. Um, I really liked You. I
Mhm.
just finished season 3 of You. Um, what other shows? I liked. Oh my God, I'm blanking.
It's okay.
I liked Supernatural when I was in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much anymore because it got a little repetitive for me, but that got me over my fear of like horror. I liked The Walking Dead until my favorite character died, and then I stopped watching. And that's all
Oh
I can.
shit.
That's all I can think of
Okay,
now.
okay. Um, we're not gonna do spoilers, guys. It's okay. And then movies. If you can't think of another show, it's okay.
Movies. I've always been big on the Lord of the Rings series. I really like Tangled. I really, I really like Shrek. I think it's deep. What else? Yeah, I think the Lord of the Rings series is my favorite of like all time.
Ooh, even The Hobbit.
No, like
Ugh,
separately.
got it.
Yeah.
Which movie did you like the most?
Mm, the first one, the music, it gets to me. I really, really like the soundtrack from it. I like that was a big bonding experience because like I didn't grow up with my dad, but then like whenever like my dad came, like we started living together, that was like the main bonding experience, and we'd always listen to the soundtrack together. So the first movie has like a big hold on my heart.
Let's see. And then about the answers you gave, I've watched some of them. Why is AOT your favorite?
Uh, I don't want it to sound bad. Like, I really like action and like knives and then like having to fight through pain and having to like get through stuff. Um, I grew up watching it. It was probably like one of the first animes I've watched. Um, oh, I just remembered one. I really liked I really liked the first season of Sword Art Online. I thought it was cute.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay.
Yeah. um yeah. Okay, but I grew up watching the anime, and then since they took such a big break in between the anime seasons, um I was reading the manga and I thought it was like very detailed, which is what I kind of like in a story. Yeah.
Favorite character from AOT?
Mm, so difficult. I like Hanji.
I didn't expect that. Nice. Okay. That's very different. Okay, and then shows you mentioned the 100 was like one of your favorites, even though you didn't like how it ended, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you favorite character for that one.
Octavia.
Davia, okay. Yeah, without spoilers, I would agree about the
Or
ending.
Murphy.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
And then Supernatural, Sam or Dean?
Dean.
Okay. I feel like everyone says Dean, not gonna lie.
Yeah. The angst. Ugh.
For The Walking Dead, which season did you stop?
uh Whichever season it is where the bat.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, I figured that's when like half the people stopped watching.
Yeah, yeah,
Got
yeah,
it,
yeah,
got it.
yeah. I was
Nice.
like, hell no.
Oh shoot. But you know, the season before that, it kind of gave us like an idea something was gonna happen. Did you guess who it would be?
I think I guessed right, but it was just because I was reading a lot on the internet of like other
Oh,
people. Yeah.
yeah. Then once you saw it, it like hit you like a truck. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like one of those kids who would like I'm on Reddit a lot.
Mhm.
So I would read like theories for like Attack on Titan and like Dead and like all of
Theories.
these shows. Yeah.
Right. Nice. So that was the talk about shows and that sort. Um, favorite artist and favorite song as of now.
Um Favorite artist, Mac Miller, maybe. Um or I don't know how to say his name. Hosier. I don't know how to say his name.
Like,
um
is there a way to say Hosier? Hosier?
I don't know how to say his name.
Okay,
Something like
okay.
that. And my favorite song, and has been for like the past like 3 years, is Slow Dancing in the Dark by Joji.
Ooh, okay. All right, and you also mentioned that you played the cello and piano, right?
Mm. Yeah.
What was that experience like for you? And do you still play?
Um, so I grew up playing the piano. My brother really wanted to learn, and I just kind of got dragged into it because my
Mhm.
mom was like, if I'm taking one kid, I'm taking the other. But then I'm the one that ended up like staying with it. And I used to do like examinations and like all this other like classical like music history lessons and like harmony and like having to learn how to write the music and stuff like that. Um, and yeah, I stuck with it for a very long time. And um, now I think I'm still like I don't have a piano or like a keyboard here, but if I
Mhm.
ever see one, like I'll go play it. And I'm always interested in like learning new pieces of music. Cello was just a personal interest that I've always had. It's one of my favorite instruments to listen to. Um, I haven't like I suck. Like I literally just started learning how to play it because from my jobs in like middle school and stuff, I had saved up enough money. So then I went out and I like bought a cello.
Mhm.
And I only took lessons for like maybe a month. And then I was like, you know what? I'm a self-teach. Um, but then right like not even 1 year, maybe like 6 months after, I moved to LA and I wasn't able to bring my cello here.
Mhm.
So I don't really play anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, but it sounds like you're good on the piano then.
I
Okay, so do you need a break before we move on?
no, I'm chilling.
Okay. So now we're gonna talk about relationships and heartbreak. So definitely switching gears.
Yeah.
So like how we talked about the work experiences, talk about what you consider as your first relationship. You could even talk about crushes or whatever you want, like talking. Let's go from the beginning and then you can go from there.
Okay. Um, my first crush. I think it was, oh my God, I don't even remember. I think it was like fourth grade. I used to have this crush on this kid called Jared. I was like very shy growing up. I don't think I said a single word to him besides like, "Oh my God, I play piano too." And like I wrote about it in my diary, which is why I
Oh.
remember. um, like obviously nothing happened because it was like the fourth grade, and then my next serious crush was grade 6, I believe. There was this guy. His name was Thomas. Um, and we would play this like very stupid game where we would like whack each other with our rulers and like I don't know, it's like 10-year-old things. Like whack each other with our rulers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I thought he liked me, and then he was like, "Yeah, I did like you. But now I really like your friend." Um,
Wow.
yeah, and that really hurt. We went to different like middle schools, and I remember I was like sitting on the bus, I was like looking out. It was like an Adele music video or something. It's like, I'll never see him again. We're going to different middle schools. Um, yeah, so that was over, but that one was like a rough one for me because I got bullied like grade 6 and 7,
Mm-hmm.
and he happened to be very close to the people that were like bullying me. And the girl he liked was like the main person that was like bullying me too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it was a big ouch.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it like kind of put me off from like pursuing anyone. Yeah, that was like the first big heartbreak I think I've had. And then I think the next one was like 2 years later or something like that. There's this other guy. He was kind of like my type used to be like I was like very good and I would like listen in school and like never get in trouble, and my type was like the bad boy who would like go out and ditch class, like the cliche.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was like a year older than me. He would never go to class. Um I think he had like slid into my DMs or something on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh my God, hey." Like it wasn't actually sliding, but he was just like, "Hey, how's it going? Like I've seen you around school." And we used to talk to each other a lot about like our problems. like our school problems, like home problems, like whatever we were thinking. And we got very close, I think, like emotionally. But we didn't really hang out that much at school because it was just very different crowds.
Yeah.
Because yeah, even back then, like I think we were like 14, 15, like he'd be smoking hella weed and he'd be like drinking. And like obviously I was very detached from that sort of life.
Hmm.
So we didn't really hang out that much at school or like outside of anything. But that crush lasted for a very long time, I think, just because of the emotional support that we had given to each other. He ended up dating this girl whose locker was right next to mine. So it was just seeing that every day too.
Hmm.
And then I was like, nah, fuck love. Um, and then I didn't go for anyone in high school because I was like, I'm gonna get into UCLA. Like, I'm not gonna start a relationship right now because like it's gonna be so pointless. And also I wasn't really interested in anyone. Um, and I also wasn't really, I wouldn't say I had like a fear of commitment, but it was more like I didn't think I would make a good partner because I felt like I was so busy with everything in life. And I feel
Yeah.
like I wouldn't be able to provide like the emotional support that they might need because I would be like going through it as well.
Hmm.
Um, so I think I pushed away a lot of people that I would talk to. And I was always kind of haunted by the fact that all the guys I had liked growing up, like not a single one liked me back. Or like no one would ever confess their love to me. Like I feel like everyone is confessing to each other. All my friends were cuffed in high school, except for me. It was like eighth wheeling nonstop. Um,
Jeez.
yeah, like the
That's
entire friend group. Um, and then it was first year. Oh my god, first year, like March-ish is when I like met someone and I was like, you know what? Like I don't know if I'm ready to be in a relationship really. And then for like 4 months straight, he was like constantly like chasing me, like trying to make me see like why a relationship would be so good and like trying to give me emotional support.
hmm
And just like saying like it's not bad to date, like we should date. And then 4 months later, I was like, okay, let's date. And then he was like, I'm not ready anymore. I'm so busy. So then that crushed me again because I was like, oh my God,
yeah.
right as I kind of felt like I was ready for that, it
Hmm.
was like another shutdown for me after like all the ones I had grown up with. Uh, and then I was single for like a period until my sophomore year of college.
Hmm.
And I started dating one of my friend's roommates. Or like roommates during the summer, but not like during the year. And we dated for maybe like a year and a half, almost 2 years, like into COVID. And it was like a very wholesome, I think very like I don't want to say childish, but like very innocent, I think, relationship. And I think we didn't face like a lot of the problems that we should have. And it was like very, like in my opinion, it was very hard to communicate.
Hmm.
And the problem only got worse like during COVID when it became like when everything became online because um he was from like the States, so he like obviously stayed here and then like Canada. So we would like call over Zoom, but then we would have our own things going on, so we can never really have like a conversation. And he hated using technology. Um, so he was like, every time I talk to you like over the internet, it doesn't feel like I'm actually talking to you. And then we just like the relationship ended. It was very bad. It's like it got like very messy. And like I still had to deal with some of it, like even now, because we broke up like, oh my God, when was it? Like very early on this year.
I see.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, but like I hadn't really had to face it or confront it until I came back to UCLA because we both go here.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I had to like sort some stuff out. Yeah. Yeah. And then like, I'm in the Valorant community. I did some like e-dating or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't go well. That was like stupid as fuck. I don't know why I did that. I just thought it'd be interesting to like experience. Um, yeah, that didn't go well, but
Said e-dating?
like
How did that work within the Valorant community?
there's like a huge I don't know the word for it. There's like a huge stereotype that Valorant players are all like hella down bad and like they all want love. So like if they hear like a single female voice on comms, like they'll be like, "Oh my God, what's up, baby girl?" Um, so I guess I was like dating this guy, this like Valorant player or whatever, and it was essentially just like obviously we had never met or anything, but it was like for me, a lot of my interests are just personality. Like I don't like I could care less like who you are, what you look like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, a lot for me is just personality based. Um so I didn't really care if we didn't meet, honestly, as long as we were like supporting each other. So we would call a lot, we would text a lot, we would like FaceTime and stuff. We talk about our problems. Um but like that didn't end well either. Yeah. Cause I was like, oh my God. I was I was doing some research, stalking the social medias and stuff, and then I found out like he had a girlfriend in real life,
Oh.
and I was just kind of like I don't know if they were still dating by the time that like we were doing anything, but I was kind of like you never told me about this girl, and like you told me your relationship before it was like a very long time ago. Um so like it would have been nice to know. So I felt just kind of like I felt kind of cheated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, that was a while ago though. And then this year, like this like school year, I'm currently dating like someone like who goes to UCLA and like it's going very well. I'm very happy.
Oh, someone from school.
Mhm.
Nice, nice. All right. Um, so aside from that, what type of advice would you give to people in regards to like dealing with relationships?
Advice?
Yeah, relationship
Um,
advice.
oh God. I think the main one is keep an open mind and don't assume things, or like if you assume something, at least like check in with the other person to see how they really feel, or to just like communicate. Like you don't have to talk about every single one of your problems obviously, but like communicate and be honest. Very basic. Like be honest, be open about your feelings. If you have an issue with something, like don't be passive aggressive, just like hash it out.
Mhm.
Mm, um be empathetic, I think, is a big one, because I think it's easy to forget like you're different people at times, and like you're both like you still have your own lives to live, and you still have like your own responsibilities and stuff. So I think be empathetic and like realize that you're like it's so cliche, but you're like two wholes like coming together, and you're not like two halves like together or whatever like that. Yeah.
Gotcha. And you kind of mentioned that you don't really have a specific type, it's more on personality. So, I guess what type of people have you been interested in beforehand? And what personality traits do you look for?
So when I was a kid, I think it was very like I was reading all these stupid like fan fiction books and stuff. So I was like, oh my god, bad boys, you know? Like that was the personality type I was looking for. And then I think growing up, I want someone who makes me laugh or like makes my day better. I think that's definitely my type. Someone who is positive. Cuz I'm also very optimistic. I'd like someone who like lifts me up or makes me think like everything will be okay. Um someone who's like I said very empathetic. Like I think that's my biggest one so far. Mm, yeah, that's my type now. And like nerdy or like it kind of has the same interests as me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we are gonna transition over to mental health.
Mm,
How are you doing right now in regards to your mental?
I'm doing pretty good actually.
Nice, it's really good
Just
to
got
hear.
over my or getting over my cold.
Hmm.
Concussion symptoms are gone. I'm really excited like for this Thanksgiving break, like get a break from school, get to catch up a little bit. Um yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
And when you felt like you were at your lowest point mentally,
Mm.
what was that like for you and how did you get out of it?
Mm, so I say that like goes back to like when I was getting bullied for how I looked. I was also going through some like stuff home because it was when my dad had first like come to live with us. So it was like having to adjust to that at home as well. So I felt like I was at a very low point just because of school life was difficult and then home life was difficult. Um to deal with that, I think I shut down for a while, but after that I felt like very depressed or like very unstable and like anxious. And I always like to know more about how I'm feeling. So I remember I was like Googling a lot, like symptoms of depression, symptoms of anxiety, like literally learning every single thing I could. Um, and like I think at one point I was emailing like teen help and stuff trying to get their advice on it.
Mhm.
And like I think I actually put some of like professional advice to work where I'd be like, I'm gonna try to focus on um the aspects of my life that I do really like. So like trying to get closer to my mom, trying to realize like the support system I have around me. Um getting closer to the friends that I actually had. And then a big one was just sports for me. Like it just raised my confidence. It helped me like it helped distract me from like the other stuff that was going on in my life. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Nice. Yep. And you're still doing rugby.
I'm still doing rugby. Yep.
Okay, so what are your current goals and aspirations in life?
Hmm. Before I would say med school. Um. Now I'd say I'm trying to graduate early, like a quarter early. So I'm trying to graduate this March, and get my bachelor's. And then after that, I'd like to do a lot more research, I think, get more involved in the medical field before I really decide if that's something I really want to pursue.
Hmm.
Um, like I think honestly could do it if I really set myself to. I just don't know if that's the path that I would want to do for the rest of my life. Um, Other aspirations, I don't know. That's the only one I really have for now. Graduate and get more involved in the medical field.
Yeah. Oh, what's the proper term for the position that you play for rugby?
I'm inside center and outside center, or like 12, 13, and I'm also fullback, which is 15.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that was for my friend in chat.
Oh,
Okay, what traveling have you done already and like adventures, and where do you want to go in the future?
I haven't traveled much actually. Like I've literally only been to the countries like like the ones I mentioned, like Taiwan, the
Mhm.
US, and Canada. Um I'd like to go to Asia, like Japan and Korea. But I'd also really like to go back to Taiwan just because I don't really feel connected to my Asian roots that much. And I don't have like any recollection of what Asia is like. Um, and then I think I I think I want to go to Italy because I've seen some like very interesting looking cathedrals there. But that's like a very basic reason.
Italy, okay.
Yeah,
Nice. I'm sure you'll get to do that someday, so have plenty of time.
yeah, I hope so.
Okay, so now more of the social media aspects.
Hmm.
What platforms do you currently use aside from Twitch? And how's it going for you?
Um, Let me look at my phone. I use Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and Discord. I don't know if that counts.
Yeah.
It's like,
Mhm.
yeah. Um, I just recently got on Twitter this year. I had never used it before, but for one of my neuroscience classes, um, the professor was like, I want you to read research papers and then write like a review or a summary because she does that on Twitter. And I thought that was like such an interesting concept to do and like really helped enhance what I was learning in the paper. So I started by doing that, and then I kind of like switched my Twitter into like like Twitch based and like gaming based. And I also keep up with like the news on Twitter, which is pretty biased probably, but like it gives me a lot of sources. I use Instagram mostly to see what people are up to, and also I like to look at the pictures that people take. And also I don't have TikTok, but a lot of people post TikToks on Instagram, and that's where I watch them. Yeah.
Okay, there you have it. So now we're gonna actually talk about Twitch.
Mm.
Okay, so what got you into streaming, and like when did you even find out about Twitch?
Um, I watched a lot of the only like streamer person I would watch growing up was like Lily Pichu.
Hmm.
Um, and I would also watch this like league streamer called Ankle Spankin, I think is his name. Um, but that was it, and I've never really known much about Twitch. Um, and then I think it was, when did I start streaming? I think it was October, um, the year that COVID like really hit the fan. That's like when I started streaming, and it's because one of my closest friends, her name is Jeannie, she's also like a streamer. Um, she was like, you should totally stream, like it's a lot of fun, you meet a lot of people. That's also when my brother had built his PC, and I started playing like Warzone on his PC, and that's also where I started streaming. So back then, I would stream maybe like once a week when my brother would let me go on his PC. Um, and then I'd play like 2 games with some friends, and then I stream it. And then over time, I think it was like January or February. That's when I built my own PC, and when I started to like stream more, play more games, like outside of just streaming. Because before it was like I would make no improvements, or like I wouldn't get any better in between my streams because my brother wouldn't let me play, you
Mhm.
know. But now it's like every time I come back, I feel like, oh my god, I can't wait to like show my viewers what I've learned in Valorant, or like my rank now, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so how did you come up with your name, Bloopied?
Oh, I get asked that a lot, and I have no like real reason besides that. In middle school, I had this online friend, and she would always go bloop, 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 or like you just got blooped. And then I tried to do blooped. Like I made this name back in middle school. I tried to do blooped. It was taken because it's so common, and I was like, oh, what else can I do? So then I just added an I, and then I became Bloopied, and that's the username I use for like everything.
As of now, what categories are you streaming and what is your schedule?
Um, I stream Valorant. um, I stream a little bit of like League of Legends, but I don't really play that game. And then I used to stream some Warzone and Genshin when I played those. I don't play them anymore. But yeah, mainly Valorant now. And I don't have a schedule set right now because classes are kind of like beating my ass. So whenever I'm free, I also happen to have like a roommate, and we live in like a 1 bedroom apartment. And
Mhm.
her desk is like, it's like 5 meters from mine. So I want to stream when she's here either because she's usually studying, and I don't want to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so who would you consider as your day ones from when you started streaming? So I guess this is a way to like mention names and all that.
My day ones.
Yeah, that are still with you.
Day ones. Froyo, definitely day one. Jean Star, the girl that got me into streaming. Daniel Quee, he's like my little brother on Twitch. Oh my god, there's so many more. Crescendo 3 taught me how to play Warzone. Um, Samuzard, uh, more like an IRL, but he's also been there from day one. Vertex Media, been there from day one. Um, I feel like I'm missing a couple others, but like I'm still pretty close to like everyone I just mentioned.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nice. And you mentioned a few IRLs, so they kind of helped you with streaming and they're still like supporting you today, right?
Like Jeannie I met in school because she's from the same high school as my roommate. Um and she really helped me like set up because I didn't know how to stream, so she told me about like the apps that you can use, or like what a chat even is, or like shouting out. And she was like, hey, you can make people mod, so I owe a lot of it to her.
Okay.
And then Froyo was my first ever raid in
Mhm.
my life, and I was like, oh my god, like what is a raid?
Have you done any Twitch meetups personally?
Yes. Oh, I had my first one like 3 weeks ago. I met one of my friends. His name's like Yaz. I don't know his Twitch channel, but his name's Chris, or like something. It's Yaza FPS, I think.
Mhm.
Um, oh, he's also kind of like a day one. I met him a long time ago, and that was like my first week playing Valorant ever. I remember like I hit like a 4K, and he was like, "Oh my god, you're so good!" And I watch it over and over. And now sometimes I watch it, and it's like the worst clip ever. I met him 3 weeks ago, and we hadn't talked for a while.
Yeah.
But he was like, I'm coming to LA. And we just randomly went to like my favorite tofu restaurant, got food. And yeah, we talked. It was great.
Nice. Do you have a favorite memory on Twitch or even a favorite stream of yours?
Mm, there was one day, um, I think it was like a couple of months ago, and I was still back home. Um, and I just played like a crap ton of games, and then near the end, there were like a couple people talking in my chat, and I felt like continuing. And I never do just chatting streams, but then that day, like after I played games, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna continue. And then that day, like I just talked to people. I showed some of like my wrestling clips or like pictures of me back when I was in like middle school.
Mm-hmm.
I like played some guitar. I just like fucked around, and that's probably one of my favorite streams. Or I had streamed when I built my PC and when I was learning like aspects of like computers. That's probably one of my favorites as well. Just because everyone was like, oh my god, just like push the CPU in, like it's not a big deal. And I was like, if I even move like my hand 1 centimeter to the right, like I don't know, I was treating it like it was like brain surgery or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what impact has Twitch had on you, like throughout your experience? Has it changed you in any way?
Yes, it's definitely changed me. I think I'm a lot more comfortable talking to people over the internet like this.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm more sociable. It's like easier for me to make conversations with people now. I think um, it's been really interesting, like connecting with people from all over the world and learning about their experiences as well. And like, it's made me better at gaming, which I was asked at before.
All right, and kind of on the same topic, what would you say
Mhm.
the pros and cons are of Twitch
Um,
or streaming?
Pros, probably what I just said, like meeting people, getting to know the community, um, getting to like learn from people who are actually good at games. And then cons, mm, I think it's difficult to deal with some people in the sense that sometimes it's hard to be like, I don't really know you, or like we aren't really friends, you know, because it's easy to feel very connected to whoever you're seeing on the screen.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's like um, I don't really know who is actually coming into my chat or like what these people actually believe in. So like I think finding a balance and then also um, keeping in touch with like a lot of my friends and like reaching out because I'm sort of bad at that, and I like you meet so many people, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. Have you ever personally encountered trolls or hate on Twitch?
Yes. It was actually also pretty recently. I think like when I first moved in here, like one
Mhm.
of my first streams here, it was I think a couple people came into my chat and they were being sort of sexist and saying like you would never win a single game if you didn't have men on your team, or like women can't be in esports or saying stuff like that. Um and at that time I don't think any of my mods were in chat either. Um Like I just banned them because it's very simple for me. Like I don't want to deal with that kind of shit. Like it's stupid. Like I don't believe in any of it. Um yeah, I think that's one of my only memories of getting like comments that actually piss me off. Cause the other ones I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Got it.
Yeah.
Do you personally have any goals for Twitch?
Um Not in particular.
Mhm.
I just like to meet more people, I think. Get to know the community more, get to know like my fellow small streamers. Um Yeah, that's pretty much it. Support everyone else that's supporting me.
So there's a thing where, like, there's a lot of small streamers out there. The
Mhm,
big ones, like Pokimane, for example, right?
mhm.
What would you say is considered like a mid-tier kind of streamer, like getting up there, in your opinion?
Mid tier. Oh my god, Pokemon is like ginormous
Mm-hmm.
as a stream. Tier
Or the next level from a small streamer?
from a small streamer. Uh, like a number of followers or
It's on your like your own opinion.
oh, um, I'd say if people would be if you get recognized, like like just once or like twice if you go out. I think if you get recognized, like if you went to Head in the Clouds and like a single person came up to you and they're like oh my god, I watch you on Twitch.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Okay. Nice. Were you thinking like a number of followers could apply to that?
Oh no, I just like didn't know a certain number of
Hmm.
like I don't know how many the big streamers have either.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right, this is the question for the people. I kind of asked this question to a lot of people, but how does it feel to be famous?
Love it. Love my fame. It's great.
There you go, guys. That's what I did it. I asked. Okay. And so what advice would you give to those who are trying to get started with streaming or are just trying to grow their channels?
Um, I think a big one is to not have your viewer count up. Um, that was a big one that like changed how I behave during my streams. Just like never knowing how many people are watching and just behaving how you would like act if there were 30 people versus if there were 5. Um, I'd say stay positive, interact with the people in your chat, obviously. But like I said, like it might be difficult if you're like, oh my god, there's only 5 people in my chat or like something like that. Yeah, stay positive. Always act like there are people watching you. People are enjoying what you're saying. Yeah.
Like that. Any other advice?
Um, learn how to deal with like your audio. Like what you're putting on your screen. Because sometimes like I know streams will have like very difficult audio to hear. And like I think that's like a fast way for people to like click out
Mm-hmm.
if they're like, what the fuck? Like, what'd you say? I think that's a big one. Uh, but yeah, I think that's like the main ones for me.
Nice. Okay, now straying away from Twitch, we're gonna talk a little bit about Valorant.
Ooh.
Okay, so as of now, what is your favorite agent to play and
Yeah.
worst?
And what?
Worst agent to play?
Oh, worst agent.
Yeah.
My favorite right now is Viper. I have spent a lot of time learning her lineups and learning like how to play her properly. Um, worst agent, like who I'm worst at, or like who I think is
For you personally.
for me personally.
Yeah.
Oh God, I can't play Astra.
Okay.
She's difficult. Or, mm, yeah.
And now a similar question, but for like everything. Who do you think's the best agent in the game and the worst agent?
Best agent in the game. Worst agent. Oh fuck, that's so hard. Best agent right now,
Mm-hmm.
Chamber, because he's cracked and overpowered. Worst agent, um, I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe Brim.
Brimstone? Okay.
No, brims. No, I have no idea. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine, it's fine. It's your opinion. If you don't have one, it's fine. Okay. What is the best gun in the game and the worst?
Best gun is the Vandal. Worst gun is um the, the classics since they made the oh my god, what is it? The right click worse? I don't know.
All right. It's your opinion. It's okay. It's okay. Um, about guns still. What's your favorite skin set?
Skin set.
Yeah, the skin bundles and all that. Do you have a favorite?
I like the Sentinels of what is it? Sentinels of the Light.
Light? Yeah.
The
Ooh,
like
okay.
the pink blue variation is very pretty to me.
Sentinels of Light. List out your favorite maps. Favorite to least favorite.
Holy fuck. Favorite is Bind or Ascent.
Okay.
The ones in the middle are all like pretty much the same to me. My
Mhm.
least favorite is Fractured. I cannot play on the map. I don't know where to look.
So
Also, I
everything
kind of
else is
dislike
in the
Haven.
middle?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, everything's in the middle, and then Haven, Fracture are last.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So how's it going with rank?
Rank?
You've improved a lot.
Yeah. uh rank is it's I guess. I'm really proud of how far I've come since I started playing. Like the first time I ever played, I like placed I think like silver 1 or something. And I also wrote about it in my journal. And I was like, this is all I've ever dreamed of. Like, I'm so good at this game. And then when I hit gold, I was like, I'm the best player in all of existence. Like, I'm amazing. And then I hit plat, and I'm like, I'm dog shit. Like, I'm not good enough. So, like, I don't know what it is. Something about being plat makes me feel like ass. But I've never gotten past plat 2, and I think I'm in a rank where I really belong. So maybe over time, like if I get better, I think I can definitely move up. Just like it depends on whether or not I want to like put in the work to do
Mhm.
so. Yeah. Otherwise, ranked is going well.
Ooh, out of curiosity, what sensitivity do you play on? DPI.
0.44800 DPI.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. I used to play on 0.65, I think, or 66.
Mhm.
And then this like person in my chat was like, oh, I dare you to change it to 0.45 just like for shits and giggles. And I changed it and I was like, oh my god, I'm cracked. So I stayed with like around there.
I feel ya. Our sense pretty close. I'm playing at 0.4.
Okay.
Oh, just like you,
I
Toast.
like my
Nice.
4 too.
Okay, so now we're gonna finish things off with the random questions. So if anyone in chat has any specific question to ask Callie, feel free to let me know. Here we go. Random quick hitters. Name some of your biggest pet peeves.
Slow walkers, because I walk very fast. People who aren't understanding of others.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think I really have like any major ones. Yeah, that's all I have.
What are some of your greatest fears?
Bugs. I can't deal with bugs.
Bugs, okay. What would you say is one of your best traits or characteristics? I know that you mentioned just staying positive and being empathetic. Would you say that?
Hmm. Yeah, I'd say staying positive and like not giving up.
And what would you say is like the biggest accomplishment in life for you so far? And also on the flip side, biggest regret or failure?
Um, Biggest accomplishment, I'd say coming to America alone and being able to live alone is probably my like greatest accomplishment so far.
Mm-hmm.
Like being able to manage everything on top of school. Greatest failure, um, I don't think I really have like a big one yet. That's coming up.
No worries. Okay, down to the last three.
Hmm.
What was your first impression of me?
Seem very nice, very very friendly, very easy to talk to, I think.
Thank you, thank you. As of now, who are the top 5 streamers that you find yourself watching the most?
It's difficult for me to watch a lot of streamers nowadays, but I mostly watch my friends that I was mentioning before. Just recently, or like just right now, I was watching, I don't know his name. It's Cozy, I think is what his username was. Cozy, I watch a lot of Soji Poppy, Gene Star, obviously. Who else? I watch a lot of watch a lot of Shazam.
Hey.
What
Nice.
else? Yeah, I think that's mainly it.
Okay, and now to the last question. So, using your connections, who would you like to see on this podcast as a future guest and why?
That's... I like to see Soji Poppy because I think he would have a lot to say.
Lucas,
And I
okay.
think I think he's like pretty well spoken.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I'll keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Vertex, pick me.
Oh yeah, or Vertex, or Robert over there.
All right, that's all the questions I've got. How are you feeling now that you've went through a podcast for over like 2 hours?
I feel kind of sweaty. I should have like turned my AC on, but like I feel good.
Not too bad, right? I know you were nervous, a little bit nervous beforehand.
Yeah, I feel good.
All right, so now I'm gonna close this off for the YouTube segment, and then you just talk a bit, and I'll let you go.
All right, cool.
All right. Thank you to everyone for being here. This has been the Chang Gang Podcast, episode 42, featuring Callie, aka Bloopied. Callie, thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you.
Oh, that timing. Oh, that raid. It's like the second time it happened. Wow. I don't know if you can hear, but there's music right now. Shanghai Poppy, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in. Hope you had an amazing stream. Appreciate you, man. Okay. Thank you for the shout out as well, Sleeping. Guys, thank you seriously for being here to support Callie, to hear her life experiences and stories.
Thank you.
Once again, if you guys haven't already followed her, use !guest and you can see a direct link to her Twitch channel. Stay tuned for the next episode. which is coming probably next week since it's Thanksgiving week right now. But yeah, thank you guys. Give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Any last words from you, Callie? To sign us off.
Nope. Thanks for having me.
Of course, my pleasure. All right, take it easy, guys. Peace.